I am so excited that we get to hang out and we get to have this conversation today. This is episode 5, officially episode 5. And listen, it's going to be a great conversation because we are really getting into the aspects of understanding and appreciating your flaws. The one thing that we get so hectic and heavy about hiding oftentimes is our flaws. It's the one thing that many of us just say, "Look, I don't like it. I don't want it to be a part of my life." And I get it, I get it. But before we do this, let me just again say thank you to you guys. These first few episodes have really been great, but I want to really jump into today's episode because I really feel like it's a game changer. It's a kind of like um a necessary push. And we all have this moment where you need these type of things, these type of conversations. But we're talking about flaws today, and I think it's a great conversation to have. The flaws that connects you to your favor. We titled this episode "Flaws and All" because of the fact that many of us can relate to this. Now, here's what happens because we're talking about flaws, those things that we try so hard to hide and cover up or kind of wish away are the things that are really our greatest assets and the greatest keys to our blessings. But what if I told you this? That your flaws are actually connected to your favor. They're identifiers. They're things that let it be known that you are who you are and that they're evidence of God's grace over your life. And they're designed to ground you for your future, ground you for your purpose, and that God has a plan for you. And so, listen, in this episode, we're going to explore that conversation a lot heavy, very deeply. So, grab whatever you need to grab. I know it's late. Thank you guys for hanging out. We're testing the live aspect of the podcast out. Hopefully, all things can align. We'll be able to do some great things with the live version of the podcast. I pray that it bless you. Let's get into this episode of the Best Life Collective. Get all the meat out of that. But Second Corinthians 12, 7 through 9. Here's what I love about this message in itself. Paul reminds us that flaws are not punishment. These are actually things that are connected to our purpose. And so what Paul is challenging each of us to know is that this thing that you call a flaw is your assignment. This very thing that you are running from. God allows them not to shame us, but to save us from our arrogance, from our pride, or even leaning, kind of too hard on ourselves. It gives us a chance to know that you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. It is a constant reminder that Christ is your strength. And that's one of the greatest things about what happens with this conversation of Flaws are really indicators, what I perceive to be indicators of the favor of God. Our camera went out, so you guys may not see us on the live, but if you can hear us, hang in there with us. But flaws are indicators of your favor. Many of us don't realize that David was extremely flawed. And yet the Bible says that he was a man after God's own heart. Here's this guy, David, very flawed, very not Mr. Perfect. And yet the Bible reveres him as a man after God's own heart. Moses gave God the list of flaws. I mean, Moses was, I think if you look up the definition of flawed and you look for a picture, I'm really willing to bet you Moses' picture is there, because Moses ran it down like, God, I can't do this stuff. I'm flawed. I'm really messed up, man. I'm not qualified. I'm not the one. And here's what you have to understand. Flaws are indicators that you have favor on your life. That's one of the greatest indicators of the favor of God that dwells upon your life is your flaws. Because to have made the mistakes you have made, to have been the person that you have been to people and to yourself, to have said some of the things that you have said about yourself and about your life, and God yet still keeps moving the dial forward on your behalf, you are favored. Your flaws are indicators that you're favored. You've made the mistakes. You've gone to the club. You've slept around. You've gotten drunk. You've committed adultery. You committed fornication. You've messed up time and time again, and you don't even realize that it's your flaws that come to the table to help you identify your favor. Honestly, if you look at the flaw of the woman with the issue of blood, it was beyond her control. And the reason why we call this, why it would be perceived as a flaw, is because here you have a woman who has a condition that she cannot control. She has no control over this condition whatsoever, right? So there's nothing she can do. And it makes her flawed because she can't keep up with others. And sometimes what happens is, if you're not careful, probably like the one with issue of blood, you get so caught up in your inability, your flaw, your lack, your not 100%, which is what I have found out. There is not a 100% person in the world, because there are people today that you will look at and you will say are beautiful, and they on their way to a plastic surgeon right now with a beautiful face and their beautiful body. There are some people, if you look at them, they were so beautiful in their natural state. Now they got fillers, and this BBL thing been popping. I don't even know if folk get the money for the BBLs, but they do. They do. So you have to think about it, that even at 100%, someone is always, or what you're looking at and saying is great, that person's looking at somebody else saying, I wish I could be them. You see the people with money saying, I just wish I could live a normal life. You see the people with no money saying, I just wish I could get a couple of dollars in my pocket. So flaws keep us wanting the next, never seeing that we are who we are, and we are who we are, fearfully and wonderfully made. But if you slow down and pay attention, a flaw isn't really about showing you you're not worthy. It's about showing you just how worthy you are. And that's what's beautiful about flaws. Because despite the flaw, David still slayed Goliath. Despite the flaws that David was and would become even greater of, David still was enlisted as a man after God's own heart. Your flaws are not indicators of why God don't love you. It's your flaws that really highlight the fact that you are so loved by God. That's what flaws indicate. That's what flaws really highlight and make known, is the fact that you are God's chosen vessel. And so that's the first thing you have to understand. That is the first truth about flaws that you need to write down. Flaws are indicators of favor. You want to know if the favor of God is on your life, consider your flaws. Consider your flaws and your failures and your shortcomings, all those things that consider all those things. And then take a step back and say, my God really loves me. Flaws and all. He loves me. The second thing that we must understand is that flaws are things that point to your future. I have a saying that really blesses me. I say it quite often. Who am I tomorrow that I have to be? I got to be this jacked up today. Who am I tomorrow that I have to fail like this? I have to feel like this. Who am I tomorrow that I have to go through this struggle today within my mind, within my heart, within my spirit? Who am I tomorrow that this is me today? That's something I have to always pause and ask myself. And I would challenge you to do the same. To stop at some point and ask yourself, who am I tomorrow that I don't have enough money today? How wealthy am I tomorrow that I don't have nothing in my pocket right now? How loved am I tomorrow that I feel like the world is against me right now? How great am I then or there that I feel so small here? I'm telling you, it's one of the greatest blessings to come into the understanding that flaws point to the future favor that you carry. It is literally your flaws that will help you understand the kind of future favor that's on your life. Paul said, God revealed something so great that the thorns became part of who he was. Like, I don't think we catch that. Paul said, what God showed me about myself was so great that the thorns are now a part of my identity to keep me from thinking so great of myself that I find myself totally out of the will of God. The thorns, this flaw became a part of his identity, became a part of who he is, not just in the body of Christ, but who he was in totality. What if your flaws is the evidence that God is preparing you for something greater? What if we just pause for 1 second and looked at the very things that you're embarrassed about, the very things you don't want people to see and know about your life, and actually thought about it in the proper context and perspective, that this might be the indicator of how great I am going to become. The problem with most of us is that we have the right problems with the wrong mindset. And so when you don't put your problems to work, when you don't allow what you've gone through, when you don't work it and walk it out, it just begins to work and walk on you. And most of us are just a product of failing to ask the critical question: who am I tomorrow that this is my struggle today? Not, oh, I'm trying to get off these drugs. I'm trying to stop this drinking. You know, we do this sometimes to pacify the people who are watching us, who are looking at us because they want to see, I told you they was going to fail. I've learned that you really can win when you start investing in yourself. Get out of the business of trying to prove people wrong and get in the space that will prove God right. All right, let's go on to the next one. All right, the next thing you got to know about your flaws, and I find this one to be just as important as all of them. Your flaws are like DNA. They are unique identifiers that mark your identity to your destiny. Now, this is just what I believe. I believe that your flaws, they are the unique identifiers. They are the things that allow people to come into the knowledge of you. Just as our fingerprints are on certain things, I think our flaws are unique identifiers. They have a uniqueness that allows us to be identified in the body of Christ, to be identified in life in and of itself. Your trials, your tribulations, your failures are the things that have allowed you to be identified in your life journey. They're your key concepts or key classifiers of where you're going, who you are, and why you are. And so I believe it's a beautiful thing to have the flaws that we have. It's a beautiful thing to carry what we carry at times. I think sometimes we really miss the moment because we become so invested in the fact that, oh my God, there's a flaw. Oh my God, I don't look a certain way. Listen. if it wasn't for my flaws, I don't think I would know who I am. And listen, yes, your flaws get on people's nerves. Yes, you got some people that can't stand you sometimes. They out there. You got some folk you drive crazy, but it is what make you who you are. And let me tell y'all what I like to tell people. Please don't put yourself in a position where you suffer from what I call funeral syndrome. All right. Now let me tell y'all why I call this. Let me enlarge the screen real quick so maybe y'all can see me. I don't know if y'all can see me. But I call it funeral syndrome because so many times I sit in I've had to sit in funerals with people who, by large in contrast, did not feel good about a person or did not feel the same way about a person who had passed that they did when they were living. Mistreated the people while they were living. And now, I'm going to miss them, you know, because we become so invested in living lives that we're just not honest with how we feel about people. Maybe it's because they hurt our feelings or they upset us or something they did broke us at some point in our life. Who knows? I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into why this is the way it is for so many. But what I've learned is that we have to get to a place with our flaws that you don't want to wait till it's too late to look back and say, oh my gosh, that wasn't too bad. I wasn't that bad of a person. I wasn't, I wasn't this and I wasn't that. And you then got to the end and now you see it. Now you see what people were saying about you. Now you see that, oh, I was pretty cool. Don't get to the end and then see it. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. All right. The next thing you need to know, the next truth about flaws is that flaws are permission to stand out. Flaws give you permission to stand out. Why do I say that? And why do I believe that? Because let's just be real. As long as you got a flaw, it's impossible to blend in. They used to say growing up, the opposite of holiness is commonness. The opposite of holiness is commonness. Don't be common. And so I begin to think early on that maybe it's the flaws that make you so uncommon. And if we would just entertain that, because a person who always fits in could never stand out. If you fit in, there's no way you're gonna stand out. I'm just being real, like what's gonna be your unique identifier? Just being honest. What's gonna uniquely identify you if you're always fit? If you just like the rest of them, where's your identity coming in at? And here you are, embarrassed, upset, and disliking the very thing that has caused you to stand out and stand up. And you don't like it. And I'm not just talking about the physical appearance, right? Because flaws is more of a character thing than it is sometimes a physical thing. Because sometimes you can hide that physical thing, but that character thing, you really, you got to work at it to really be good at hiding it. You know what I'm saying? It's a battle. That's a real uphill battle, right? And so when you think about that or you factor that in and of itself, then you know for a fact that your flaw or the thing that you don't like about yourself gives you permission to stand out. Very much so. And listen, I've learned that loving yourself is not about how much of yourself you can accept. Loving yourself is more so about understanding all that you are. Because there's some things about us that, listen, if we be honest, we may never be able to accept. There's some things in your life about you that you may never fully come to like. And that is not the end of your world. That's just the reality of your life. That's just the reality of the life that you live. That there's some things about you, your attitude, there's some stuff. And I say this because I don't want you to feel like this episode is to challenge you to just love your flaws. I'm saying learn to accept you for where you are. Learn to love what comes with you, good, bad, and indifferent, because you have permission to stand out because of the very thing that you call your flaw. Last thing, last thing, 5 things that you really need to understand. Flaws are the ashes that God trades you for beauty. Your flaws, that thing that you work so hard to hide and you don't like, and let's keep it a buck, you don't love about yourself. Those flaws are the ashes that God wants to trade you. Just give me that. And here's what I found: beauty for ashes is not well in my life. Now this may not be, but in my life I have found that beauty for ashes is, for me, more or less not what God took out of my life, but what God allowed me to accept about my life. Sometimes I think we just, we think of this thing, beauty for ashes, and, it's like, come on, beauty for ashes. Uh, I'm cockeyed. It ain't going nowhere. But I can live with that. I got these big old parking spaces up here, y'all. They're right here. I'm in front of this camera. The camera don't miss nothing. Nathaniel. But and they're fixable. We're on the road. But guess what? I can live with it. Um, because of the fact that flaws are so beautiful. Flaws are your identifiers. No, you're not always happy and probably never will be. I'm trying to figure out how to look at this camera right now. I don't, because I'm used to being on the cell phone. I'm used to, I have 2 cameras. I don't know which one to look at. So, so, so listen, there's something very beautiful about our flaws. And, and if we can just wake up every day and learn that I'm not perfect, I don't get it right. Um, I don't always know what to do. I don't often and always know who I am. But that's enough to know that God really do love me. Let's be honest. God have to love us to accept us like we are sometimes. Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's me. Maybe I'm the only one that feel that way. But I know it has to be the love of God for somebody like me. Because my attitude, my mouth, how many of y'all like that? Your attitude, your mouth, reckless. Ah, takes a lot. Takes a good God to deal with something like me. And so your flaws are beautiful. They are what make you who you are. And so I pray after this episode that you get to a place where you say, you know what? That little thing I don't like about myself really ain't that bad. That little thing that I be complaining about, it's manageable. you know, go do something for yourself. Like Lex say, as you should. You should go and do something for yourself because we are all flawed, but we're all loved. Now, y'all know I love a good old acronym. Y'all know that. I live for a good old acronym. So, our acronym today, of course, is FLAW. Okay. So, this is our focus of self love. All right. Our focus of self love. Very simple. The F. Okay. Favor over failure. Okay. Your flaws do not cancel the favor of God off of your life. That's not what your flaws do. Your flaws don't stop God from opening doors for you. I don't know where we get that from. I don't know who made you think or believe that. But your flaws do not stop the hand of God from moving on your behalf. Somebody say it with me. Yes, I'm flawed, but I'm very much favored. All right. L, love begins within. I can give you that rule. Love does not start around you. Don't start with your friends. Don't start with your family. It starts with you. Love starts within. Your best life starts inside you, not around you. I know it's like your family and all that. They good people. They are good people. I love your family. They beautiful. But love starts within. It's an inner thing. And who you are within plays a huge role in who you are without. All right? You'll catch that later. Who I am within plays a huge role in who I am without. What do I mean by that? It plays a huge role in who I am without friends, without family, without money, without somewhere to go, without somebody to talk to. Who I am within plays a huge role in who I am without. Don't forget that. All right. Authenticity always. Okay. I win when I choose to be real with myself, not perfect. I win. Say that with me. I win when I choose to be real, not perfect. That's something. Woo. Yeah, yeah. That's a truth right there. Perfection is not about anything other than the ability to accept what you cannot control. That's as close as you'll get to perfection. Is the moment in the space where you can accept that you don't have or you don't possess the type of ability to control the narrative that you think you do. I can win when I understand that I'm cool. I'm legit, authentically me always. When you can wake up every day and just be okay that you are you. And listen, you're going to be you without people you love. You're going to be you without people who, come on now, you're going to be you without money in your pocket sometimes. No matter what it is, you got to be real with yourself. I'm still me. No matter what the situation is, I don't care what the narrative is, people. I'm still me. If I got money in my pocket, if I don't, that's what you have to tell yourself. I'm gonna be me regardless. Like me now, I'm frozen. I'm Elsa right now. The screen is frozen, and I don't know why. I just can't answer it for you. But that's okay, and we keep moving. All right, the last thing, the last one. Okay, walk in worthiness. Oh man, I can't listen. That one is a big one for me. You have to walk in your worthiness. You have to walk in your worthiness. If you don't walk in your worthiness, you will walk in your destruction. The most dangerous thing to any of us is to walk in destruction. And it don't take much. Let me be honest. I think we be thinking like this stuff it's gonna take a lot to walk in that. Nah, fam, it don't take much. It just takes for you to deny who you truthfully and really are. That's all it takes. A little denial. A little denial. See, we don't realize denial goes deep because at some point we start denying ourselves of our truth. If you're not careful, if you become a worshiper of your flaws, you will do that to yourself. You will go deep into that. Oh, I'm not worthy. Oh, I tried to come back, y'all. Guess I'm not ready for my grand re-entrance yet. So let's be mindful. All right. Let's be very mindful of who we are so that we understand the weight of our flaws. All right, you guys. That's this whole episode 5 conversation. I've enjoyed it. I hope y'all have. It's been a really fun conversation. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna work on this camera thing. We're gonna figure it out, and then once we get it figured out, we'll get it up and running. We did all this investing in this camera, and then now it wants to come and act funny. But it's our first live episode, and so thank you guys for making it a really good live episode. I have enjoyed it greatly. Let's talk about this real quick. We got our challenge on the table. Y'all know me. If you're doing anything with me, I believe in a good old challenge. I believe in a good old 1-2-1-2. Um, I know, right, Lex? I believe in a good old 1-2-1-2 challenge. I mean, anybody know me knows a challenge ain't nothing but an opportunity for change, something greater. Our best life challenge, hashtag flaws and all challenge. I need somebody to jump in this challenge with me. Our flaws and all challenge is very simple. You're going to write down one flaw you've been ashamed of, just one. Think about one good flaw that you just really come on. And no, you ain't got to give it to nobody. It's just between you and you. Thank you, Ali. Shoot. Act like it's just hard to write down one flaw. You know what I'm saying? It's just one flaw, Angela. We can write that down. The flaws in all challenge. Write down one flaw. Then write down one way God has still favored you through that one flaw. I really want you to, I really want you to think. Get in your thinking bag. Like, if you can, just for a second, go deep into your thinking bag and really give it some deep thought. Like, how has God favored me through my craziness, through my mess? How has He kept me when I was so not worthy of being kept? What did He do for me that He didn't have to do with this flaw? Okay, I want you to get that in your spirit. And then the last thing, if you can, share it with the hashtag. Find a creative way to make a post about it. You know, that's if you really want to be free, talk about it, put it out there. That's not putting people in your business. That's inviting people to your freedom. All right. There's a difference. There is a difference in telling your business and inviting people to your freedom. I invite you to invite others to your freedom. I'm telling y'all, it's gonna feel nice. It's gonna feel nice. Seriously though, all jokes aside, it does. It's a very great thing. Okay, y'all got it. Can y'all handle this? Can y'all handle the challenge? Are y'all down for a little challenge? Are you down? Are you brandy down? Because if you are, then put something in the chat. Let me know. I'd love to see how this goes and how this works out for you. All right, you guys. Well, listen, our time has been well spent. I have enjoyed kicking it and hanging it with you. Hanging it with you guys today. I've enjoyed this episode of
time.